What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Part 2 of the build series on Explore Builds. Now look, the sign in the background might give away a bit of information as to where we are. Of course, we're up here at J-Max, and this is where we're cutting the back of the chassis off, getting rid of the original diff, getting rid of the leaf springs, and it's a fully new, welded in, one-piece, 300mm extended chassis, all fully engineered, braced up, ready to go. Let's go straight inside the shed. The boys have got the car there as a roller, and we're going to get into it, and we're going to show you how it all happens. Let's do it. Here we go, there's no turning back now. We're well and truly into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Part 2 of the build series on Explore Builds. Now look, of course, we're building a brand new 79 series as the Explore Life truck. If you haven't seen the first video, make sure you go and check that out before you watch part 2, then everything will make sense. Now look, the sign in the background might give away a bit of information as to where we are. Of course, we're up here at J-Max, and this is where the build really comes into its own. So there was a lot of comments, you know, why are you doing a 79? It's been done to death. It's not very original. I get it. But I needed to build something that suited my needs and something that I wanted. And look, the 70 series platform is the ultimate platform on the market at the moment, in my opinion, to allow bulk modification, specifically to suit what I want to do, which is that long range touring. I need to carry a lot of gear on some of our filming trips, so I need to be able to load that truck up. And look, as you've seen on some of my previous videos, the poor old 76 did a rear diff housing on one of our trips because I'm carrying a fair bit of weight and all those sorts of things. So this truck, the main things I've had in my head is I want it to be fully legal when I'm carrying all this gear, and I want to keep the drivability and I want to keep the comfort. So this is what we've decided to do. I've gone for the 4495 GVM upgraded package with the coil rear kit. So what does that essentially mean? For this kit, we're going to go inside shortly and it's all going to happen, so you'll be able to see step by step what's going on. But essentially, we're cutting the back of the chassis off, getting rid of the original diff, getting rid of the leaf springs, and it's a fully new, welded in, one-piece, 300mm extended chassis, all fully engineered, braced up, ready to go. A whole new diff, coils, the whole kit and caboodle. Now what this allows me to do is have a GVM of 4495. It brings my BTC, my brake tow capacity, up to 4 tonne. This is extremely important with the amount of extra gear we wanted to carry, and make sure that we are legal and it's done correctly. So without me dribbling on anymore, let's go straight inside the shed. The boys have got the car there as a roller, and we're going to get into it and we're going to show you how it all happens. Let's do it. Now it's getting to the exciting part. So we've got the factory set up here, the factory diff, leafs and factory chassis. So what we're going to do, the boys have just pulled it in the shed now. They're going to strip out these rear leafs and diff section, then put this into their jig, mark her up and get it ready to cut. I'm going to have Jace come down very shortly, the owner of J-Max, and he's just going to run us through some of the differences between the factory chassis and his new upgraded chassis. We'll talk a little bit about weights as well while we're at it. So let's get into it. This is the old factory chassis. The boys have just whipped out all the underneath, which I'll show you in a second. They've marked it up for the cut. It's all getting a little bit real. You can, it's pretty crazy. There's not much actually left once you strip it out. You can see why you would want to upgrade the chassis when you're talking about this much weight. But all right, let's check out the what they've ripped out. All right, well, here we go. As you can see, that this is basically what the boys have whipped out, and just about all of this will now pretty much go in the bin. So factory leaves are gone, my factory tyres are gone. Getting ready for the BFGs. These factory rims don't cut the cheddar for the weight, so I've got brand new wheels coming to go on as well. The old diff, shocks, everything. This is basically now null and void, and all the new fancy gear goes on, all upgraded. We're going to get into the big boy, and here she is. This is the whole new chassis. So it is 300mm longer. It is obviously engineered to take the weight. It really is crazy, the difference when you look at what is there and what's going on. You can see why it is necessary to carry that correct equipment. Jace is just walking over now, so he'll run us through exactly what we're looking at. Jace, I guess what a lot of people are probably wondering, I know you can just cut this this chassis and you can add a 300mm piece in.
Yep.
But obviously that is all incorporated in your upgraded chassis. So can you probably run us through the main reason why you do a full new chassis instead of just adding that section in?
Okay, so traditional method, as you said, is to cut that chassis under the car. The big thing is these chassis were designed at 3.3 tonne by Toyota.
Yeah.
However, you know, we're seeing the GVM space jump bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So what we're finding is now by making that chassis longer, the chassis sectional value is still quite small.
Yeah.
Compare it to a 200 chassis. 200 chassis is much, much bigger.
Yeah.
So is the new single cab and cap a much bigger chassis. So when we do a traditional stretch, we also add some extra bracing and stuff to bring a little bit of more rigidity back to that chassis. What we found was though, is as these cars get heavier and heavier, you do inherently feel the chassis under the car.
Yeah.
So if you have a look at it, it's not a lot of chassis in it.
No, it's actually really surprising. Once you strip everything out, like, there's not a lot going on here.
Not a lot going in, no. And so as you're well aware, when we do a bolt in, we strengthen sections of the chassis for the change of suspension type and point loading.
Yeah.
So taking this scenario and grafting it into a larger chassis section that integrates with the existing chassis, what it does is it gives us bigger chassis rails.
Yeah.
It also allows us to build a bigger tow system.
Yeah. So integrated tow hitch.
Correct. So if you go and buy a Toyota tow bar or any aftermarket tow bar, it will then add 150, 200mm to the back.
Yeah.
We've now incorporated all of that into our new chassis. So not only do you get a rated 4.5 tonne tow hitch, even though the rating on these is 4 tonne, it's overrated. It's the same tow hitch we use on our 6x6. You've also got a rear winch cradle.
Yeah.
So incorporating everything that most guys will ever want into one structure that is part of the car and certified.
Yeah. So before we go and have a bit better look at the new chassis, when you do your 300mm, because people are probably going to wonder, that's a limitation. So you can go to about 4.2 tonne.
I suppose everybody has a different approval. So you've got guys that have suspension only approvals.
Yeah.
You've got ourselves which have a suspension plus axle plus brakes.
Yeah.
So limitations on GVM are not really strictly chassis limited. They come down to all of the components that are in that system.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's no point having a big GVM when your axle load is really small.
Yeah.
When you put 350 kilos, which is the 10%, so most 3.5 tonne vans will be minimum 10, so they could be 400 kilos. But if you put 350, 400 kilos, that's leverage to this point. So it essentially is putting more load on your axle because of how far back it is. That's the other benefit of the chassis extension. The more you move the wheels back, the less cantilever that your towing ball weights and things has on the car.
And then I guess the other aspect that we need to talk about, the reason we bring that the axle back, that 300mm, is because then a lot of your canopy weight and everything is more over the centre of the axle as well. Hey? So you get rid of that cantilever effect. But look, I'm pretty keen to get stuck into it. So we'll get the boys in here, we'll lop this one off, and we'll get the new chassis on. Let's get into it. Cheers, buddy. Here we go, there's no turning back now. We're well and truly into it. Alright, well there we go, simple as that. The boys have hacked the back off and then they've got this section prepped up, ready for the new chassis to come on. And then all the old paint's been taken off, back to bare metal, ready to weld. Happy days. Alright, well there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this little behind the scenes look at the new chassis going on. The boys basically just slipped it in now. It's all leveled up, all squared, absolutely plumb. Ready for the boys to weld up, so they're going to get that all welded up, and then you'll have to come back next time for part 3 when we start putting all the fancy components underneath. We'll run through all the suspension, the rear diff, absolutely everything. If you're enjoying the build series or you've got any comments, make sure you hit us up below. Like, subscribe. See you next time on Explore Builds.